Hi class, I had a student ask me about some questions on the quiz, and I wanted to start by talking about number 7. It says to use the graph or table to determine a solution of the equation, and then use synthetic division to solve the polynomial equation. So I'm given x cubed plus 9x squared plus 26x plus 24 equals 0. I'm given the graph of it, and I can see that one of the zeros is at -2. And notice that all my choices say -2. The remainder will be 0 since it divides in there evenly. To use synthetic division, what I did is I started by setting it up in a Word document. -2 is the 0. I've got this straight up and down bar to represent I'm dividing that in. And I have 1, 9, 26, 24. And so how synthetic division works is the very first number is just brought down, and then it's multiplied by this number. I guess I should give myself more space. So 1 times -2 is -2. I add 9 and -2, and I get 7. Then I multiply 7 times -2, and I get -14. I add 26 and -14, and I get 12. I multiply 12 times -2, and I get -24. I add 24 and -24, and I get 0, which means the remainder is 0. It also means that the original polynomial has a factor of x minus 2. Has a factor of x plus 2. And then also has these coefficients in the remaining polynomial. And so what I can say is my new polynomial can be factored into x plus 2 times x squared. Let's see. That's not squared. X squared plus 7x plus 12. So I get those coefficients of this remaining polynomial right here. 1, 7, and 12. 1x squared, 7x, 12. That makes this my equation. I can factor that. So I have x plus 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and factor this equation. So I know I have x and x, because x times x gives me x squared. And then I need factors of 12 that add to 7, and that's going to be +3 and +4. And so if I can check that by FOIL, x times x is x squared, x times 4 is 4x, 3 times x is 3x. That gives me 4x plus 3x to get my 7x, and then 3 times 4 is 12, and this equals 0. Now it's factored, I can set each of these equal to 0 and solve, and I'm going to get -2, -3, and -4 as my solutions. When I set x plus 2 equal to 0, I get -2 as the answer. When I set x plus 3 equal to 0, subtract 3 from both sides, I get -3 as the answer. And when I set x plus 4 equal to 0, subtract 4 from both sides, I get -4 as the answer. And that's why the answer is A.